Hello everyone, welcome back to another Dev Diaries, and I mean, I'm still going to call them Dev Diaries, but they're not. These are more deck profiles. Today we've got a Normalium deck and the Math Magician archetype deck. Now, we're going to start off with the Normalium deck, and the way this deck works is all the creatures here are normal. So, real quick before I get into this, be sure to subscribe. I do have a contest going on at the moment. I don't know when it's going to end because I've currently got no submissions. But anyway, I'll probably keep the contest going on. It's just basically so I can see what you guys do as artwork, and I'm going to try and make some cards out of it. So there's basically just going to be no losers. It's just going to be fun, but there will be winners. I will say that. Anyway, so each creature here will have flavor text, as you can see there. And this will go on for all the creatures. And this essentially just means they are normal creatures, they don't have effects. And that's how this whole deck will work, and I'll show that off in battle videos, like I said, and all the other stuff. So anyway, let's just get into the deck profile. We've got 3 copies of, don't know the names, Serpentine. Serpentine's a very good staple normal monster, or creature, sorry. I really like him, and I think he'll work in the deck. He's got very high strength stat. He's not a brute, which means he has no sacrifices, which makes him very good. And because I'm on limited time, let's just get on to it. And we're playing 1 Slime Spinner, just because it's a card I find funny, because of the artwork and its strengths. It's not the best, but it can definitely do something with the way this deck's built. And that's all of our Woodland Creatures. And now, yes, we're using 3 different marks in this deck. We got the old trusty charged screen. We've got 2 of them. And we've got 3 copies of Cyber Husky. It's probably my favourite card in the game, just because I really like Huskies. And his strength stat is really good. Sorry if you can hear laughter in my background, that's my brother. And I can't really stop it. So, we move. That's going to do it for all the steel creatures. Now we are on to the air creatures, which is a whole new mark that I haven't gone in depth into. So we got Stormbreaker Eagle, which is a very nice card, and something I've noticed, this actually shows up, which is very good. Because my next deck's going to be air, so this shows up very nicely. And then on top of that we've got 3 Spiritual Winds, which is a very nice card. I love using it because of the artwork especially, and its strength stat is just really good. Like I said, 1,800. It's incredible to have some of these cards finally in the game. So if you guys just pick up some rares, you can just chuck them in your decks. It's going to be really cool. Like I said, I'll put a description down, or I'll put a link to my online shop in the description if you guys want to check that out, get some packs. All the cards you see in today's video will be available in those packs. And I'm going to do a pack opening soon. I'm ordering the cards later, and they'll probably come in a month, which is not good, but I'm going to try and keep you guys up to date with some content. I've got another Dev Diaries video coming out later, where I'm just going to be going over the work. But anyway, you guys didn't come here for that. You came here to see 2 copies of the brand new Normalium... Don't remember the last bit. Normalium Unleashed, that's it. And this is probably one of the most powerful cards I've created so far. And the reason is because you're going to, in this deck, you're going to have these 2 cards out of the field that you need to activate it. So the way it works, you send the 2 cards I'm going to show you to the Necropolis, and then you deal 5 points of damage. That's over half of your opponent's life. This is an insane card. It is going to be probably hit on a ban list when this deck or game finally starts seeing growth and all that other stuff. But anyway, moving on to the cards you need need Normalium's Curse and Normalium's Grace. Now this deck's all about hindering creatures that have effects and buffing your creatures that don't have effects. So Normalium's Curse is an Omni Negate. It negates all creatures with effects and lets you shuffle 2 cards into your, or from your Necropolis into your deck if you have, or your opponent does not have a normal creature. And Normalium's Grace doubles the strength of all normal creatures. Yeah, it's that good. And it also, on top of that, during the end of your turn, you're allowed to search out a free normal creature. So just, you know, because it needed more help being good. So yeah, that's the Normalium spells. And I really like them. I think they're quite good. Maybe we'll get put to like 1 or something like that when this game goes. Let me know, guys. Are you looking forward to the game's release? I don't know. I'm really excited to see if anyone will pick it up. Even so, I'm happy that you guys enjoy the content, man. That's part of the goal, just to make people happy with the cards, and I really like how it all works. Anyway, the next card we've got Unorthodox Bond. Some of you guys may have seen in my every card so far video. I talk about this card. Yeah, no, my first ever video on the channel. I talk about this card and how good I think it's going to become. This deck is one of the very first decks that I've made that can definitely utilize it. So the way this whole deck works is you need a different type and a mark, and this deck plays a bunch of different marks, which you can see by the color borders, and types. Every creature is basically a different type, which means you can get your whole boards out really easily in this deck, and that's just something I really like about it. It has a lot of alternatives if you can't get a certain card out, and I just think this is gonna get hit. This is one of my favorite cards I've ever created in any card game that I've made. I love how it works, and it's one of the first cards I've ever done which is crossover artwork. So some of you may know these, but this is Gorm from the Math Magician archetype, and then we have Ghostly Salamander. And I'll go over Gorm and his effects and the thing, and then Ghostly Salamander is just generic. This is one of my favourite card artworks that I've ever done. It's not bright, it's nothing special, but I just really like how it came out. And then lastly, we have one Amplifier. I always like using Amplifier, it's just something about it that I just like. And also, something I do want to say, Grace doubles the strength, so it will also double boosted strength. So this means this card goes from boosting 1000 strength to boosting 2000 strength, which is incredible in this game. And I just think there's not going to be many decks better than this, actually, now looking over it. And then for snares, we've got just 3 Smoke Screens and 2 Phoenix Talons. Once again, it's a really simple deck in how it works. The only hard thing, sorry for knocking the camera there, guys. The only hard thing to really explain about it is brutes do count as normal creatures. Despite them not having flavor text, which I'll get this card out here because you can see it really well. Despite it saying brute here, it still counts as a normal creature. Brute is immune to normal. It does not come under effects. It's not going to get negated. This is a mandatory thing. It's just rather than saying creatures with 2000 or more strength have to have sacrifices and all that other stuff, I can just put it on a card text. And it's just a way of simplifying the rules down. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't confuse you guys with this deck, but I don't know, I'll go over it more when I do like some in-depth battle videos and all that other good. Let me know what you guys want. Like I said, man of people, I'll get what you guys want. I didn't think I'll do a speed art, and then that came out, got claimed, anyway. And then we got the next, yeah, but anyway. That's the normal deck. I'll probably use this in a future battle video, I really like it. Alright, so moving on, we've got the Math Magician archetype. Now this is an archetype designed for my brother, and honestly, looking back on it, it was made for when I still used 6 life as opposed to 9. So it's very underpowered, I would say now. But anyway, we're going to go through it. There may see some buffs, more support, but anyway. I'm waffling again. You'll notice that's something on the channel. 3 Scarlet is the first. This basically is one of the main cards that can get damage on board, which is what this deck does. The downside to this deck is, despite getting damage off really easy, it heals all the damage it does in the end. Unless it uses other cards, I'll go over them in the near future. But this is one of the very good cards. Every time you cast another Math Magician, you can take 1 damage to deal 1 damage. And its strength stat's actually pretty decent. It's got 1600, which is always good. It's above average in the game currently, and I really like how it's looks and how everything's gone. Moving on, we've got Gorm, who's a instant, which means when he's played, you deal 1 damage, but obviously it's healed during the end. Now, the thing about this is he's got good strength, which is the only really good thing I can say about him. The only reason you play free, which is why I'm playing free anyway, is because he's more summonings for Scarlet, and he can get some damage on board, but he's not great. He's also just an additional target for this next card called Salty. And we're playing 3, obviously. He's like a Elemental Hero Stratos, or I can't think of anything else that searches off the top of my head. But when you normal this card, he searches. And you get another Math Magician. Obviously you can get like a Scarlet, play her down, and you can get like a damage off from her effects. You can get a bunch of other stuff. It's just, I really like how this deck's cards work. It's just, in the near future I might just have to remove the bit where they heal, because that might balance them out a bit. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the description. Or not description, the comments. But yeah, I know you guys might not fully understand, but just let me know what you think and all that other stuff. Just comments help the video, and yeah, be sure to leave a like. Anyway, I'm waffling again. 3 copies of Verde. Now, he's very interesting. He has Twin Strike, which obviously you guys know in the game by now. Twin Strike does 2 damage. It is very important. Obviously, this guy heals during the end, right? Now, the reason this is good for this card is it's a win-win. He has Interrupt, which means he can negate the effects of an opponent's card if you heal damage. Now, I don't know if there's like some other link behind it, but yeah, it's the first card they play will just not have its effects. Now, there are ways around it, but it essentially makes one of the cards redundant. And I think this is really good for how this deck will work. And it's just a nice, like, speed changer. I like being able to get some damage off from attacks, and having a Twin Strike is always good. And I'll show you why the healing effect isn't that bad. Anyway, moving on with our last creature, another card that's got Brute, but this time he has an effect. We have Calculus. Now, Calculus is the dragon. He is incredibly bulky, with 2,500 base strength. And he has an effect that for every damage your opponent has, all Math Magicians, gain 300 strength. And that's incredible in this game, because this deck will probably get like 4 damage out permanently. And then all of a sudden, all your Math Magicians are gaining 1,200 strength, which is really good, especially with the Normalium deck I just showed. So I think he'll work in the format. I don't know how well, but I don't think I'll see as much of him in the game as I would like. And I just really like the artwork and the design behind him. Moving on, we've got the World Spell. I don't think I've showed any of these yet. But it's holding facility of the magical formulas. I'll go over them in a sec, but basically this is one of your ways of getting permanent damage on. So every time your opponent takes damage from a Math Magician card, you can place one, I don't remember the counter's name, but you place a counter on it, and then you can remove any number of counters from this card to deal damage to your opponent. It doesn't gain counters from its own effect, otherwise infinite loops would happen. And I don't know why I specified this on the card, because it's not called a Math Magician. So that doesn't really make sense, but anyway. Just some of the slight slip-ups from the devs' perspectives. The next card we got, Easy as Pie. One of my favourite artworks by far in this game. It is really cool, the actual, like, pie play on words. It's just really funny. To me, anyway. I'm sorry guys, I'm a nerd. Leave me alone. But anyway, the time this card is played, it nullifies the healing effect of all Math Magicians. So it essentially makes the damage permanent, and that's one of the ways of stopping the thing. And personally, I don't think it's too overpowered in terms of... In fact, I don't even think it's too balanced. It would more need to be like a world, or not a world, a infinite spell for it to be balanced, in my opinion. I'm going to keep using it at the moment. In my playtesting, it was fine. Against the other decks, it seemed to do well. So I'll keep it like this, see how it goes. And then moving on to... I just realised I'd done spells without saying if you want. What's happened to me? Anyway, moving on to the mathematical sequence cards. We have the M, which is I'm playing 2 of because it's one of the better ones. I'm playing 1 of each, and I'll show you why in a sec. And we got, obviously it spells out maths. I'm from England, we spell maths like this, not with math. So, let me give you a quick rundown of how this works. Each magical sequence card needs to send another one from the deck to the Necropolis to get it off. And then they'll have effects that directly, like, boost your cards, make them more powerful, search out the others. They're really good. I like how they worked. And honestly, I'm probably going to do more spells like this in the future. And honestly, it's just such a shame that some of the effects are just so underwhelming. because you can't, especially now I've got more staples and generic cards I want to use, I can't really flood my deck with them, which I feel like is the only way I could play them. And because of this, I've only managed to get one of the reasons you would play them, which is Mathematical Sequence Final Flare. Now this is, it's an infinite spell, and it can win you the game. So when you activate it, if you have 3 or all 5 in your Necropolis, you can equip them onto this card, and you win. And even if you don't, you have like 3, you can equip all 3 on. Then during the end of each of your turns, you can, I don't remember if it's add from deck or not, but that's what I'm just checking. It's from anywhere. I'm just going to say it like that. Yeah, that's going to be a long pause, so I'm just going to edit some of that down. But that took a while to just like clarify that with myself. So that's going to be a very good card that brings the power up. And then we've also got Convoluted Question, which to stop the snares from basically affecting your cards. And then of course we have the One Amplify. It's a joke card to me at this point. I really like Amplify, in case you guys can't tell. I've actually made it a rare. I'm probably going to bring that down to a common, just because it's kind of funny. And I've always liked Amplify. I think it's always good to boost my creatures up and have strength. It depends how the game evolves as well. And then for snares, we're just playing 2 negates, because it's very good at negate effects. That's what it says. So yeah, that's basically all the cards that we're playing. Just putting something on the top, that's why you can't see any of them. So this is the 2 deck profiles for both the Normalium and Math Magician deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you made it all this far, you're a legend. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the future. Like I said, a contest going on. Email, card shop in the description down below. But apart from that, I haven't really got anything else to say. So I think this video's been long enough, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!